Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Lori. I'm going to drop this TikTok in really quick and then I'm going to expand on it because I try to keep my TikToks to 1 minute. So I'm going to show you this TikTok and then we're going to come back and I'm going to kind of dissect each one of those down. Let's go. There are 3 signs to check yourself on manipulation, and then to also see if other people are trying to manipulate you so you can be like, skirt, hard pass. Mental tricks to implement fear. Right? So it's like, oh, do you really think you should do that? I don't know. Okay, but do you know what happened to her? Things like that. Stop projecting and stop allowing people to project on you. Hard pass. So you need to check yourself if that's you. Don't put your autobiography on them. Let them do them. You do you. Guilt tripping people to do what you want them to do. Okay, I was really hoping you would. I know, but grandma's not going to be around forever. Stop with the guilt tripping and stop allowing yourself to be guilt tripped. Guilt tripped. Explosive emotions. I'm going to tell you right now, come at me with explosive emotions. I'm going to be like, I do not allow myself to be spoken to that way, and I'm going to bow out. Do you have to be in control of your own emotions and not act out of emotions, act out of response? All right, great. So as you can see, there's a lot of things that you do on a day-to-day basis that's manipulation. I'm not saying that you're calculating your manipulation. So, now listen, the guilt tripping is a calculated manipulation, whether you want to believe that or not. But I want to talk about that first one, right? And that is creating fear, trying to create fear in other people. And that's not good at all, right? You're inflicting either the fear because you wouldn't do it, or you're inflicting the fear because you don't want them to do it, but it's all about you. Either one of those scenarios is manipulation, right? Listen, I'm not saying that you're not coming from a place with good heart. Again, you can be coming from the place with the best intentions on the planet. I'm here for it. But your intentions underlying may have a manipulative tone to them. And what I mean by that is you have to understand that each human being walking down the street, your kids, your spouse, your friends, your coworkers, they are not you and they don't have to be you. And you want to be careful of manipulating through fear because, have you ever seen those people, and narcissists are really famous for this. They know where your insecurities are, or you may know where somebody else's insecurities are. So that's kind of where you go to be like, let's control that dial a little bit. So you want to be really, really careful of implementing your autobiography onto them without them asking, right? So if they said, hey, would you go skydiving? And you might be like, no, I wouldn't go skydiving. But if you want to go skydiving, that's great. It's just for me, it might not be my jam, whatever, right? For me, it would be my jam. So we'd be just skydiving together. It'd be like, where are we going? But it may not be for everybody. But you don't inflict that. If somebody goes, hey, oh my gosh, guess what? I'm going skydiving next week. And you go, oh my God, do you really want to do that? Did you hear about that guy in Buffalo? Wait, what? You got to be able to that's you not hearing somebody. That's you remotely hearing what they said and then boom, responding. So you want to be really careful of that. That is a level of manipulation. Now let's go into that second one. Guilt tripping. Oh, you are very guilty of this at times, and people are definitely guilty of implementing this onto you. So this is why you want to be aware of that. Guilt tripping, there's never a good space for it, okay? Just because you want your kids home for Thanksgiving, or just because you want said thing, whatever it is, don't pull manipulation by guilt, okay? And that's like, oh, well, your grandma, this might be her last Christmas. Okay, well, what? Wait, what? You know what I mean? Stop saying how you would feel. Let's say that is your mom, right? Your kid's grandparent. And you say, hey, it's one thing to say, hey, do you want to come home? Are you coming home? Grandma's going to be here, right? That's all you got to say. Grandma's going to be here, right? Then it's up to the person who says, okay, well, I know grandma's getting a little bit older. Maybe I want to show up. Maybe I don't. It doesn't matter. There's not a right or wrong there. And that's the key. That's the key. Did you hear that? There's not a right or wrong there. So you want to be careful of the whole, but I'm so sad. I wanted you to be here. Listen, we're all going to do that to some level. I will do that frequently. If I'm like, hey, you know what? Do you want to come? I would love for you to come. This does not mean I would love for you to come, but if you don't come, I'm going to be really sad. And if you don't come, I'm going to be so upset and there's something wrong with me. No, you can say, I would love for you to come. You want to come? No, I can't come. Okay, no worries. Maybe rain check. See, that's where you have to be confident in that. And So that's for you with your guilt tripping. If somebody's trying to hit you with a guilt trip, just say, listen, please do not use grandmother as a guilt trip. People aren't going to like it. Seriously, sometimes you have to confront them on their stuff, but you want to be careful of inflicting so with attitude. And sometimes you just have to say, hey, listen, I appreciate it. I'm going to pop in and see grandma next week. I've already made that in my mind that I'm going to go see grandma privately next week. I just want to spend quality time with her there. I'm not coming. That's it. Now, we're not going to sit there and debate about it. You have to be okay with hanging up the phone or walking away. See, you're trying to inflict your words onto other people for them to go, oh, I understand. Stop trying to get people to understand you. But you want to be careful of that guilt thing. That is manipulation on a really high level, okay? Now that third thing, explosive emotions. Listen, everybody has certain levels to deal with their emotion. We've all done it, right? We've all had misplaced anger where we're frustrated about something and somebody walks in the house, they ask you a question, you go off on them, you're like, da 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 da, and you're like, they're like, wait, what? Like, I was just asking you what you want for dinner. I didn't know this was going to be a whole thing, right? So you are responsible for your emotions. And I'm going to actually do a whole podcast series, not series, but a whole podcast on that, on how you can like really like not control your emotions, but understand not to go from an explosive space. But this is where you see people manipulate out of anger, right? This is that explosiveness. I said, I want you to do da 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 da. And then you're like, I mean, all right, I guess I'm just going to do it because holy cow, like I didn't know that. No. And your emotions are solely yours to process. All right, I'm not asking you not to feel it. Did you notice I never said don't feel your feelings? Ever. And that's the important factor of that is these emotions are for you. These are your emotions to process. So, and remember, people do things out of fear, frustration, and hurt, right? That's what anger is, by the way. Anger is just a describer word. It's like saying that you're short, but anger is just a describer word. Okay, so to say angry, you either have fear, you either have frustration, or you have hurt, or you might have all three of those. Okay, but so when you're feeling some kind of way, you initially come out with that immediate response. This is a training ground that I really help my clients with. Yeah, because a lot of times you skip the filter. It goes from here to here with not stopping here. And sometimes it's just going to happen. Listen, I'm not saying you're never going to respond out of emotions. I'm saying be more mindful of when you're responding out of emotion, because you don't get to respond out of emotion, kirk out, and then say, oh God, I'm so sorry I was going through something, and then expect everybody to just flip off like a light switch. Be like, oh, okay, they're better now. It's not about you. And vice versa. Someone's coming at you, you literally have to say, I do not allow myself to be spoken to that way. Not, I don't want to be spoken to that way. I do not allow myself to be spoken to that way. And this is not just, they're not just going to go, oh, okay. Like, that's the thing. Stop with thinking that when you establish a boundary, people are just like, okay. They're not. They're going to be like, what do you mean you don't allow yourself to be taught? They're going to get a little indignant. And you just leave them talk to this blank space. Yep. Don't engage. Walk away, hang up the phone. So you have to let them just have the last word. It's okay. It really is. Because at the end of the day, you're freeing yourself up. But that's why I wanted to kind of go deeper on that TikTok on that is you got to realize that there's certain levels that you're doing. Anytime, and I really want to work with you guys on this, anytime you have a relationship of any sort, friendship, love relationship, you got to be careful not to let it be transactional, where you're like, I'll do this for you if you do this for me. I do this, I expect you to do this. No, that's tit for tat. We're not doing that. So when you're able to sit in a space of being kind and wanting the best for someone on their terms, not on yours, now you've reached a good space of your relationships. Plural relationships. Understanding that people don't have to do how you do, they don't have to make you happy, they don't have to, none of those things. But you want to be able to like see and hear them. See, there's an art to listening. A lot of times when you're listening to respond. You're listening to relate. Why? It's not about you. They're talking, unless they're saying something directly about you, they're talking about themselves. Stop inflicting your stuff. Stop like, oh, they're talking about that. I remember that. Okay, you gotta be careful of that. So, but yes, so I wanted to jump on and do a little bit of a longer video to go through and dissect. Listen, we all do it. So do not act like you've never done it or that you don't do it from time to time. You do. You absolutely, positively do, and that's okay. You just have to be mindful of it so you can minimize those times when that happens and ultimately get to the space where that doesn't happen. I would say I'm probably 98% like through that. There's still every now and again something will crop up, but usually my son or somebody will be like, well, like what was that? That was a little manipulative. And I'll be like, oh, daggone. Yeah, it kind of was. So I like it because I want you to call me on it. And so that's important. So, but yes, when you're good with yourself, you understand that other people are not you and that you don't have to manipulate it to get what you want because external forces can never give you internal peace.